Let me drive back to Brizzy, sit down, get prepared, and I'll tell you that story. Anyway, it's been great here. I'm gonna wrap it up and say goodbye to the customers. See you back in Brizzy. G'day out there, and I'm Kenny, you're watching, and we're talking Colorbond. This time it's not cladding, it's roofing, and we're talking about a project that we did down in Tamworth.
Welcome to Tamworth, a place where country music meets the heart of Australia.
Now, you may have seen little snippets about this job, but I haven't yet done one that talks about the whole process and how it ended up looking amazing. So stay around, watch what we have to show you. Let's go. I'm down in Tamworth at a home that we've just completed the roof. So the Tamworth project that was completed, it was actually the start of 2024, so it's been a little while now. It was done in a Stratco Highland tray 320 material. So the 320 means that it's between the rib and the under, so the two ribs. It's got a coverage of 320 millimeters. It's in the monument matte finish. As you know, I love it a lot, and it's one of the most popular colors when you're doing architectural range projects. So this one here is no exception. It has, what has it got on it? It's got 200 half round gutters in monument matte. It's got full fascia wrap in monument matte. All the receiver channel barges and hips and ridges and everything, that's all in monument matte. The whole lot's monument matte, and it looks amazing. That's what they've got on here. The bit of the overview. So this job is down in Tamworth, and you might know that we're based up here in southeast Queensland in Brisbane. However, what and why did why did they come to MyCladders? Well, it was because they had a non-negotiable outcome for their roof. They wanted the standing seam roof. They wanted it to be oil can free. They wanted the insulation. They didn't want to have to ply the roof. They wanted the result that they wanted, no exceptions. So they contacted us early in 2023, and we said, look, it's just so far away, and we can't help. I'm very, very sorry. That happened. They went out, they looked for other people, and no one that they went to that would service that area could offer them the 100% oil can free guarantee. If you don't know what oil can is, type it into your Google, look for it, your ChatGPT, whatever you need to do, type it in there, and you'll find a bunch of uglies. They didn't want it. So one day I was actually in New Zealand on the snow, and I get a phone call from the customer saying, can you please do the job for us? So long story short, I went down there, had a look at the whole thing, measured it all up, gave them some advice of what they can do to prepare the job better. And then from that, we said, look, we're very busy right up until Christmas, but two of the team that they'll be very happy to come down there and do that on a contract over Christmas. So Nigel and Josh went down there. They were happy with that. So that was the setup. That was the plan. We solidified a quote for them that everyone was happy with, and then we sent the material down there ready for them. We used Stratco for all of the sheeting and the materials. The customers supplied the battens themselves. We used Austral, and I actually towed it all the way down. So Austral insulation, we took down a 55mm Anticon blanket, and I drove it all the way down to Tamworth. So we got all the material in there. However, the ridge caps, barges, and fascia wrap, from our experience, we needed to, especially since it was so far away, we needed someone or a company, a supplier that was going to be able to do that without us having any issues, any dramas. So we reached out to F&M Fabrication down at Parkinson. We said to them, well, I'm like, Fanos, can you do this for us? Can you supply it down there? And he said, not a problem. Send us the list of what you need done. They did it. They packed it all into crates. I was able to go and inspect it before it left. It was all meant we didn't have any problems whatsoever. I towed the caravan down there for the boys and parked it up on site. They're on a substantial sized farm, and the boys stayed in that caravan for the entirety of the process. They were owner building the place. They had a builder on board to help them do all the tricky stuff, but they were owner building the place, and so they were able to give answers really quickly. Where are the droppers going? How would you like this to be? How would you like this to be? The end result was that the communication between them and us and the boys on site went seamlessly, and well, that's what happens. Nigel's been working with me, and Josh, they've been working with me for now over 20 years. The end result came up that it had a clean, modern finish that the monument matte brings, along with when you drive up to the house, instead of just seeing a house, you see a masterpiece. That's kind of the difference when you look at standing seam cladding, whether it's Highland Tray, end seam, or your generic standing seam claddings, right? The difference it makes with the standing seam cladding is that it just doesn't look like another house. It looks like a piece of architecture. It looks like one of those buildings that you see in magazines. So they could have cheaped out. And there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say with the trim deck. They could have gone and put a normal trim deck roof on there and it would have been a nice looking house. People would have said, this is a really nice house. However, with this, it's not just, oh, this is a nice house. It's a wow. So the owners get that when they drove home. They are having visitors come over now and stay the night with them out at the farm. And everyone they said that comes into there, they're like, wow, look at the roof. They're not looking at everything else. They're like, wow, look at the roof. Then you go inside and get wowed by everything else that they've got inside. But the end result is what they'd hoped for. The feel that it gives them, the result that it gives them. And yes, okay, so Colorbond's going to give you fantastic warranties. It's going to give you a peace of mind. It's going to give you all that regardless of what material you use, what profile you use, you're going to get that. So with this roof on this house, the design that's been done, the implementation of the install from Nigel and Josh, and getting the ribs to line up the valleys, getting them to line up over the hips, and getting it all to work in a way where you just go, wow, that looks good. That would have taken some effort. There's some attention to detail, but that's just standard for us. That's kind of what we do. So it does impress people that aren't used to seeing a high level of tradesmanship. I mean, I can toot my own horn all day. If you know me, I can do it. I'm very good at it. At the same time, is you've got to be able to back it up, right? When people tell you, they tell you words, but their actions are different. Well, the words are meaningless. So when you tell words, you got to go check and do your research and make sure that the actions speak louder than the words. And that's what we're here to do at MyCladders, and that's why I'm sharing this video with you all. They have no oil canning in the roof. It looks amazing. You should see it with the ice on it. Like, it hasn't had snow on it because it doesn't really snow in Tamworth, but they've sent me photos with ice all over the roof, and it's so cool. Absolutely love it. In one section, to go up a valley, we needed to put an undersheet so we could line everything up so it would look seamless. When you look at that in a certain light, because the overlaps onto both sides of that, the overs change directions. And so as it goes up the valley, you could see that it looked like it was a slightly different color. The reality was it's the same color, just the light reflected off it differently. That was the only thing. And in speaking to the customer, when we came back to it, they said, if I'd known it before, I'd understand it and it wouldn't have bothered me so much. However, if you look at the result of all the ribs lining up and how that's all come together, that's a much better scenario than that not happening and it all looking exactly right. Because it's only at one point of the day that you see that. So essentially, people like to say they exceed expectations. We like to say that we met the expectations because the expectations were at the highest standard already. The customers have recommended us to many other people that they know, and other people have asked us to do work for them down there, and it's been really difficult. We can't because it's just so far away. And it doesn't mean we won't in the future. However, it does mean that if someone wants to have a project like this done by MyCladders anywhere in Australia, we will do it. They're just going to have to wait for it. That's kind of the only issue with it. But in the end, this beautiful project here in Tamworth has really showcased not just our ability, but what Colorbond can do if you get imaginative and you choose a different profile, choose something that will resonate with you and really showcase the house. Because the roof is a huge component of the house. And on this particular project, I'm sure you can agree, it has absolutely nailed the scope, the spec, and the non-negotiable that they started out with, they got. Thanks for watching. Look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you out on your job site. All right, Gladiators, enjoy your day. Bye.